If fans should have a concern about being banned from games, I think the answer is basically no, except if you become confrontational. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner. I really enjoyed watching them in the Royal Rumble. So he is my Drew McIntyre to my Sheamus, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis and Coach. I like Drew and Sheamus together.
That's horrible.
They a lot of physicality.
You're going to throw them in my face.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about the storyline. My bad. I was just watching, but they weren't in the Rumble. So AJ wasn't in the Rumble, so you can't, but yeah.
That's who they were supposed to wrestle.
Yes, but yes. Oops. My bad. Sorry, AJ. But I know editorials. Anyway, on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, I'm trying to get tickets to SmackDown in March. So I'm trying not to say anything too bad because they're coming local, and I'm hoping my partner.
It's DC, right?
Coming DC, like early March. So let's get us in there, man.
Let me tell you.
No, I'll make the signs.
We'll get it right.
All right, we're going to talk about the Knicks. We're going to talk about Ben Simmons is back in the news. We're going to talk about the Lakers trade. Is Big Blue back? Is Kentucky back? And we're going to talk about this week in basketball.
Of course.
But Mike, let's start with the New York Knicks. So I got to give fans some personal history. My pops was a New York Knicks fan with a back-to-back 72-73 team.
Mm-hmm.
And Clyde, those cats, Dave DeBusschere.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this New York Knicks banner in my house that had 72-73 champs. Okay. So then I grow up in this area, and Patrick Ewing had great win, by the way.
Oh,
way to get that win.
First one.
Got off the snide.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I had Adidas top 10s. I played center.
Them joints was right.
Love Patrick Ewing. And, of course, you can't think about the Knicks without OJ and June 1994 in the chase. We're trying to watch the basketball game. I'm like, why they got this slow rolling car on? But anyway, before we talk about the Knicks themselves, Coach, any thoughts about the past Knicks before we talk about the present?
Yeah, I too come from a family that were Knicks fans because they was one of the most prominent teams back, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, guys was playing
Knickerbockers.
Yeah, they had a great tradition. I don't believe it's the same owners, of course, but that's the Knicks are old, man. They were good, they were competitive, they were gritty, they were blue collar. You had guys that just played so hard. Patrick Ewing and myself, I'm a fan. So I really love the BK Broiler, who you didn't mention. They call him Bernard King. They call him the BK Broiler.
Yes.
Mr. 55. He'll go get you 50 in a minute. So
yes, and you didn't know he quiet as 50. You look at the stat sheet at the end of the night, like 18 for 25. I didn't even know he took 20. I'm killing you.
Like he playing by himself every night. It was like, you know what I mean? Some dudes couldn't get 50 if they was the only one on the court.
So let's talk about today's New York Knicks. James Dolan is the owner of the New York Knicks. And since Dolan assumed control of the New York Knicks in 1999, but not around the same time Snyder came in, that was just an aside. New York has had 14 different head coaches, 7 different lead basketball executives. Dolan has also said he has no plans to sell either the Knicks or the Rangers. And he did a wide-ranging interview with local radio in New York. And this guy never does like these types of interviews. So here's his thoughts on team president Leon Rose. Excuse me. The New York Knicks owner, James Dolan, believes in the job that Leon Rose is doing. He brought Leon in because he has 20-something years of experience in the NBA as an agent. Um, but again, the Rose hiring has not led to a deep, extended playoff run.
Mhm.
So I want to tell you why he was interviewed in the first place. So at Madison Square Garden, they are implementing facial recognition technology. And that's what's caused me pause because my partner was just up there. Facial recognition has been used to ban people from coming to games and concerts.
Oh my God.
Dolan reiterated that his position that the only people who are being impacted by this are the lawyers filing lawsuits against his company, and that once those lawsuits are complete, then they will be allowed to come to games. But when asked directly if fans can be and have been banned, he said, okay, so we use this. This is a long answer. If fans should have a concern about being banned from games, I think the answer is basically no, except if you become confrontational. So, Mike, before I give you the state government's response, what do you think about the Knicks using facial recognition?
I think they worried about the wrong stuff. That's sad, man. Like that's what you worried about? How about the product on the court? What are you doing? Like, off the air, I got a whole lot more to say because I know someone directly, related to, one of the agents or one of the guys is like one of our best. He's one of our friends. You know him too. And I know that the way things are going on in New York is horrible. The security at the Garden is horrible. It's probably the worst experience I ever had when I was there for AJ's wrestling event on the 26th of December. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. Like we went backstage behind the curtain, and so to speak, we go behind the curtain. We literally had 15 steps we could exit the door, and the guy was like, "No, you're not going out that door." It's like, well, why? And even the WWE officials was like, "Sir," he's like, "Oh, this is a family. Like this is their family. They're all going back to the hotel 2 blocks up. Nah, you're not going out that door. You got to go up, around, down those steps, and out that door, and then walk all the way around to the other end of Madison Square Garden." Like it made absolutely no sense. Like, how can I come behind the curtain but not walk out a door 15 feet away? And then the dude stood there and circled around us like he was circling a plantation or something.
Well, the state government did have a response to this. Last week, New York State Senator Brian Holman Siegel, who's the chairman of the State Senate Judiciary Committee, wrote a letter to both NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, asking them to sanction Dolan over the use of facial recognition to turn away fans. So we're going to keep an eye on this piece because notice we're really not talking about the on-court product, as you said.
At all.
We're talking about banning fans, possibly due to facial.
So Charles Oakley, the first one on the list.
Yeah, that was bad. That was just a bad look. All right. So Mike, Ben Simmons is back in the news. Now we have praised Jacque Vaughn and what he's done with the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes, he's not getting enough credit.
So here's the latest, and here's what Jacque Vaughn did. Ben Simmons signed a 5-year, $177.2 million contract with the Philadelphia 76ers in July of 2019 with an average salary of $35.4 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and I ain't mad that he's making that money.
To do nothing.
The Brooklyn Nets suffered a bad loss last week to the Detroit Pistons and have lost like 6 of 8 games, from the time of this taping. Head coach Jacque Vaughn seemed to be fed up after the game when discussing his players' preparation and performance. And Coach Vaughn said this, and I quote, "The expectations, what we always talk about, was to win this basketball game. The people who suited up, the people who played, the people who stepped on the floor, had an opportunity to impact the basketball game for their teammates. That's the objective every single time we step on the floor. We were expecting to win tonight. That was the goal. Whether it was back to backs, I remember playing 5 nights, 4 and 5 nights, 3 and 4, 4 and 6. It doesn't matter. You do what's necessary, whether that's taking care of your body, the mental part of it, the work that goes in between on days off between games, game days. You get yourself in a position to win. And that's why we do this thing. So people in the media thought that was a veiled shot at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was guarding Jaden Ivey during the game when the Pistons rookie accidentally swiped him in the eye on a drive to the basket. As we like to say, Mike, that's basketball. Simmons checked out of the game at the next dead ball, went to the locker room, and did not return. However, the team noted knee soreness rather than an eye injury. This is not the first time this season Simmons has left the second game of a back-to-back early. His exit also came on the heels of a fourth quarter benching Wednesday night during the team's loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. Great game. Vaughn benched Simmons in large part due to his lack of aggression on the offensive end. Simmons has plenty of positive qualities as a player, but if he's not even thinking about shooting, that's not good, especially to garner the contract he has received. Mike, any thoughts about the latest on Ben Simmons?
Man, the minute he said the mental part, I knew he was talking about him. Like, he can't get by that, number one. Number two, has anything changed from when I've been telling you the last 2 years about Ben Simmons? I never saw him as a point guard. I never saw him as a leader. I never saw him tough enough to do anything. I've been telling you that since day one.
Yes.
He's not. I told you, people get enamored with his height. Oh, he can dribble a little bit. That don't make you a point guard. That don't make you a leader. That don't give you the toughness. Like, the toughest dude on our current basketball team is 5'7". You know what I'm saying? Like, that little dude is the toughest one on our team. And he's our point guard. It has nothing to do with height and length and all these other things that we do because we turn into this whole big thing where we worrying about analytics and stuff like that. And a guy, how long are they going to do this? I have no emotional attachment to any player. My emotional attachment is to winning. That's what my emotional attachment is to. And if you can't get on my train, then you need to get off. I'm trying to win. This ain't personal. This ain't about how your feelings. This ain't about making everybody else happy. I'm not here for that. I ain't here for none of that. We playing a sport. We trying to win a sport. If it wasn't meant to win, we wouldn't keep score.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the last part, the Brooklyn Nets have dropped to fourth place in the Eastern Conference and are 4-6 in their last 10 games. So I know they're hoping Kevin Durant comes back pretty quickly, and then they don't play Ben Simmons, I'm guessing.
Dude, you should seen the boy last night, man. I watched a little bit of the game. Man got his hair cut, look all nice and neat. Then they said he up for a contract extension. Yeah, as soon as he get it, he's going to be back on the other side screaming how the world flat and all that crazy stuff once he get that contract extension. He playing up for that contract extension right now.
You mean your boy Kyrie? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You don't see him nice shaving, the hair done, looking neat and all that. You know, ain't said a word.
Ain't said a word.
No, you trying to get that contract extension. Talk about, he's going to get the bag and also, and then on the other side, come July, come August, he'll be in front of a microphone again, talk about something else crazy.
Okay, and speaking of crazy, your Lakers, the Washington Wizards West, excuse me. The Lakers traded for Wizards forward Rui Hachimura and didn't have to give up any of their first round picks to get him. Rui is 6'8". He's sturdy. He can play a modicum of defense. He's a decent shooter. I reached out to our Wizards correspondent, niece Jasmine, with the season tickets, and I asked her if she was bothered, and she said something about, Uncle Keith, you talk about player development all the time, and it doesn't seem that we develop players for ourselves. It seems that we develop players for other people.
go to Golden State, win championships and stuff like that, and that's what happens.
So is this a good move though for the Lakers?
I don't know, because where's minutes gonna come from? I need to know.
His minutes are gonna come. He's gonna start immediately. He's gonna
Four.
start immediately.
4.
Anthony, it's supposed to be him, Anthony Davis.
Stop it. You stop right there. That ain't gonna happen. Anthony Davis saying, go ahead, keep going.
Okay, this is what it's supposed
I need
to
5 people who are gonna be in the lineup. I don't need supposed to. Come on.
based on what media reports.
Based on
media
street
reports.
clothes. And I gotta go back to we go back to street clothes. I meant to tell you earlier.
Stop
man,
that.
man. Did you see what Ben Simmons had on last night?
No, I did
Like
not.
something out of an 80s movie. He had on leopard with leather up around the neck. I swear I thought it was Janet Jackson.
No, Michael, no.
Yeah. Look at it when you get a chance, man.
All right.
Something out of the Prince movie. He looked like he was with Morris Day in the town.
So let me give you this Lakers lineup. Morris Day in the time.
Yeah, what he look like.
All right, so I'm checking out the Lakers box score,
I need to see who will start for who, where they gonna go.
and I'm trying to pull up the box score. I do not have 0.5 here, but it's supposed to be when everybody gets back. LeBron, Rue, Dennis Schroeder, and I don't know who the 2 is. So
who coming off, bro?
there we go. Hold on. Thank you. Who's the Brown guy? Who's T. Brown Jr.? Is that Troy Brown? And Patrick Beverly. There you go. Patrick Beverly, Dennis Schroeder, Rue Hachimura, LeBron James, and either Troy Brown, who I think is a former Wizards too.
Yeah,
And then when Anthony Davis, who is back here, Anthony's back. So Anthony played 34 minutes. Rue's played 24 minutes. 0 for 4 from 3 last night against the Celtics. Can't do that. But
that's what you think was going to help their team. I'm just saying, this guy who's a GM, Mr. Bubble took all the credit for the bubble, and now I don't know what he was thinking. That's what you come up with?
Wow. So fans, I just did look at the box score, and my players know Coach Adams came out when I saw that LeBron played 44 minutes. What are you doing? What are you doing? He was 15 for 30, 6 for 12 from 3,
That's
5 for
50%.
6 from free throw line,
50%
and
good.
41, 8 assists,
And still didn't
and
get the
he's playing
ball.
with Troy Brown, somebody Bryant, Patrick Beverly, who's showing pictures to the officials, Dennis Schroeder, 0 for 5 for 3, Anthony Davis coming off the bench, Rue Hachimura, Russell Westbrook was 4 for 14 last night, 0 for 3 from 3. Man, you're only making and who's L. Walker the 4th? Because he had 13 off the bench. Who's he? And I'm sorry, but you're only making the case stronger for LeBron
Right.
in terms of this dude's good. He's 38 playing 44 minutes.
Yeah,
That is malpractice.
it is. Because them
That
dudes
is
ain't doing nothing.
malpractice.
I don't know. I couldn't look at AD the same. I'm out here 38 years old going at this, bro. You can't stay on. I need 30 straight games from you. Can I get 30 straight? Is that lot? Is that a lot to ask?
Fans, when we get back on the Odd Coaches podcast, we're gonna when Coach Franchise returns from Fantasyland, we're going to continue on, do a deep dive in college basketball, talk about Big Blue and several other items, and we'll be right back. Fantasyland, man.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Folarin Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey. Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Well, we're back in Fantasyland. Welcome back to the Ad Coaches Podcast. Segment 2, we're going to talk about college basketball, but first, fans, people of my age, Mike's age, certain age, we've got a certain feeling. And hey, rest in peace, Billy Packer.
Hey.
Long-time college basketball analyst Billy Packer passed away last week. Packer, who was 82 at the time of his death, spent 34 years on Final Four broadcasting, 27 of them with CBS and its award-winning coverage. The last time he was on was 2008. And Mike, my favorite Billy Packer call was his last when Kansas played North Carolina. It was 38-12. Heck, I think I might have been with you at a hoop group party, and they had the noise blasting, and then Kansas was up 38-12, and he said, "This game is over." And then Carolina almost came back. But anyway, any thoughts on Billy Packer, man?
Man, Billy Packer, again, yes, one of the greatest to ever do it. One of a voice that you felt so at home with, a voice that you knew was very knowledgeable. He was spirited. It wasn't that crazy over the. No, I ain't gonna say crazy over the top, but he wasn't loud and boisterous like some of the guys we have today. It was just smooth, straight to the fact, old school, very, very good commentator, and he will be missed. Well, he's already being missed, but I really, really enjoyed. You knew you were watching the game when Billy Packer was on. You know, you knew it meant something. You know.
Yeah, that I'm still laughing at. This game is over.
This game is over.
All right, so Mike, before we take a deep dive into Big Blue basketball, this is an injury club you just don't want to be a member of. We talked about Clemson.
Yeah.
Clemson basketball player Brevin Galloway will miss some time, I would imagine, with a unique and graphic injury that he explained in great detail on Instagram. I'm so happy I'm not coaching with this Instagram stuff, man. What are we doing? All right, following a workout, he suffered a, quote, testicular torsion and had to be taken to the hospital for emergency surgery. After he got out of surgery, Galloway provided a very graphic description of what happened. Let's just say the word explosion was a part of the description. And I have no interest in explosions to the nether regions. So that got me thinking. And he's supposed to be back playing pretty soon. Again, I don't know how, but we wish him a speedy recovery. But Mike, what's the worst injury you've ever had? I know it's not that.
Nah, it ain't that, bro. That ain't that. That ain't that. The worst injury I ever had was the shoulder. I probably, it was separated playing against Severna Park. I dove for an interception, trying to seal the game. We were up 10, maybe, fourth quarter. They tried to throw a deep ball, and I dove. No, that's one. Yeah, I dove and landed on my shoulder, and I know it was messed up, and the trainer popped it back in, and I went back out on the field. I know it hurt, and I pretended like nothing happened. You know, just like I got a concussion. I did get an interception against Glen Burnie, got knocked under the bench. When I woke up, I was looking up and the bench was over me like that. And they slid me from underneath the bench and carried me to the sideline and act like nothing happened. I went right back out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
My worst injury was a back injury. I took a lot of charges, took pride in taking charges. And it wasn't even me as a player. I'm doing a youth clinic and I'm forgetting that I actually need to stretch before I do any instruction. And I jumped out and started doing it. I'm talking about defense. And I get excited at defensive drills. I was outdoors with shout out to Eric Dorsey, but we used to do the outdoor stations with the defensive slides and stuff. And he's a kamikaze kind of anyway, but I'm at a youth clinic. This is not
crashing out. He crashing out.
Oh, I like to slap the floor, say I love defense, big step, big step. So I'm doing what I used to call the UCLA drill, and my back said, "Hey, homeboy, you need to get me going first." And I just laid on the ground like Larry Bird. And trainer came over, and I just said, "Don't touch me, just leave me here because it's over." So that was the worst injury that I ever had. My back locked up, and now I won't do anything without a side spin. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Wow. So Mike, is UK back? So when I purposely said it this way, when Kentucky suffered a quad 4 home loss to South Carolina on January 10th and fell to 10-6. 1-3 in the SEC, mind you. It marked the worst start to league play for the Wildcats since the 86-87 season, and it brought the program to a reckoning point. The next day, again, UK is ranked 63 in the net rankings, and that's not a good ranking for them if you want to make the tournament. They're behind Bradley and well outside the teams who tend to get at-large bids, which tend to be net rankings in the 30s. So you really want to be a net in the 30s.
No.
So
that's 4, by the way.
Kentucky.
I'm counting how many times you say the damn word net rankings. Go ahead.
So Kentucky started to make some adjustments, and they got a great quad 1 win against Tennessee. And they did that by starting to switch up the lineup based upon an injury. Okay. So they lost their starting point guard, Severe Wheeler, who was out with a shoulder injury. That was some serendipity stuff. You mentioned shoulder injury. And his absence forced Calipari into using an untested lineup combination, which turned out to be the difference maker. Okay. So now Calipari is using different players in a 5-man rotation, and that 5-man rotation is starting to garner better benefits. They're starting to play better defense. And when the point guard was in the game, who's a senior and a leader, so you feel obliged to play the senior leader. He led the SEC in assists last year at almost 7 a game. He's now logging 13 minutes a game and still averaging close to 6 assists a game. But their defense has been worse than league play with the kid on the floor. So they switched to 5. So now they have a 5 that gives up less than a point per possession. But they still got to play the senior point guard who gives up more than a point per session.
I don't.
In addition, Kentucky's a bad free throw shooting team, ranking 283 in the nation at 68%. I shoot 68%. Over the last 4 games, Kentucky has improved to 77%. But Mike, I said it's Kentucky back. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to let you tell me. With these lineup shifts, do you think Kentucky can now make a deep run in the tournament?
I will promise you, if you look at our shows from last year talking about Kentucky, I promise you, sure as I'm fat, black, and ugly, you will hear me talk about how I thought Wheeler was the worst thing for them. He's not a point guard. To me, he's not a leader. And I thought that he was just too careless with the ball. And I don't care if you get seven assists, but 3 or 4 turnovers. That don't mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
It means nothing to me. I just thought he turned the ball over too loosely. I don't know if he didn't value it, or maybe his mindset, or he thinks he's a little better than what he is and he can get away with some things. But I felt watching Kentucky, and this is someone who I totally love Coach Calipari for everything he's done. I've modeled my practices and a lot of what we do off of years of watching Coach Calipari, seeing him in clinics, buying all the videos, being able to see his skill development program, which we use too, as far as guard play, going back to D Rose, all the way back. So knowing the point guard he has had, listen, Derrick Rose, Rajon Rondo, let's like all the guys he had, Emmanuel Quigley more recently, all the guys he's had, even when he was at other places, like this guy don't even fit the mold. He's nowhere near the point guards they had. You need a point guard like those guys in order.
He brought him in.
Yeah, but did he bring him in or did Kenny bring him in?
Yeah.
Just saying, like,
Yeah.
did Kenny bring him in? Why did he bring him in? And he's entitled to one mistake.
Yes.
It's taken a long time for them to realize it, but I felt that way last year. I told you that last year. And not only that, I told you just a minute ago, I have no emotional attachment to someone who's not helping me win. Like, if I'm going to lose with you, I don't need you.
Yeah.
That's my motto. What I'm going to do, lose more when you're gone? It's still the same amount of losses.
Yes, indeed. So I am in agreement with you, and fans, I love the fact that you can go back and listen, and this is our shift, and we'll talk about this at the end of the show, but this is our shift towards more basketball focus than football focus, and we're going to move college basketball talk starting next week to Thursday so we can get people ready for the tournament. We've had our fans reach out and say, all right, when's the shift coming? Shift's coming now because we've helped people win their pool. And neither Mike or I thought St. Peter's was going to beat Kentucky. No, we didn't say that.
No.
But Mike clearly said, I don't like their guard play. And I clearly said, I don't like the fact that they don't share as much as they need to. And March teams that actually slap a floor and can stop a hedge on a screen and whatever, those are the ones that tend to last longer. But no one had that on their bingo card unless you went to St. Peter's. So we're going to move on to FAU, Florida Atlantic. In his 5th year, Dusty May is overseeing the best Florida Atlantic campaign in program history. They're now in the top 25, so people are starting to pay attention. This is the first time they've ever been ranked. And one of the biggest factors of their success is familiarity. The Owls brought back 8 of their top 9 guys in the rotation, including Nick Boyd, who lost all of last season with a broken foot. Mike, the reason why I like bringing up FAU is we talked about Southern Miss, who has no freshmen on the roster, and they're winning. We talked about Purdue and their reliance on developing high school talent, and they're winning. We're looking at FAU now, who didn't get poached because guys are getting poached all the time, so to speak. And we're talking about 8 of 9 guys. And here's the thing. Their coach says, this team watches more basketball than any team I've been around the last 10 years. So they're watching film. So you got young guys watching film.
Right.
They love basketball, not just playing it, but absorbing it. They watch college. They watch NBA. They listen to basketball podcasts. Hey, we're going to tag you. Listen to us. That State of Basketball episode are going to win somebody some games, whether it's high school, college, or something. So any thoughts about FAU? Because I'm starting to watch them now as we get more basketball oriented in for March Madness.
He said it all. I mean, these guys are they're soaking it up, man. These guys are learning. These guys are involved. These guys are watching it.
So they're not doing this?
No, they ain't taking a selfie sitting in a restaurant somewhere chilling all the time. Like these guys are watching basketball. When you can watch your mistakes and you can be objective and soak it up, you become a better player. You can become a better player when you're committed to it. And you know, I don't know what quad they're in. I still don't like you started that today, but
It's not me. It's how they pick. So, and wait till we start next week with the net rankings so we can keep everybody posted on where we are in terms of the NCAA tournament. And we picked a lot of the teams that were
each quad got their own championship.
It's not an each quad, man. Anyway. All right. Finally, in this segment, yesterday's solutions lead to the day's problems. Green Bay, Wisconsin, fired Coach Will Ryan last week, 3 days after they suffered their 11th consecutive loss. Ryan, the son of former Wisconsin coach Bo Ryan, posted a 15-61 record in 2.5 seasons. Freddie Owens, who's been an assistant on Ryan's staff, will be the interim coach the rest of the season, and he will promptly be released as well. So get your resume ready. Green Bay dropped to 2-19 overall and 1-9 in the Horizon League on Saturday with a home loss to Robert Morris, 72-38. Shout out Andy Toole. It's been too long. I hope you're well. Ryan was hired by Green Bay, wait for it, Mike, after going 14-13 in his lone season as a head coach at Division II Wheeling. Shout out Tom Dickman. Green Bay went 8-17 in his debut season and finished 5-25 last year.
Was he before Danny Sanko?
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
Now I just dropped. I just know my boss loves Wheeling. Ryan had taken over for Link Donner, who went 92-80 and produced winning records in 4 of his 5 seasons.
Amen.
But somebody didn't think that was good enough. And now you would love to have 92-80. So any thoughts on that? Because he got hired after going 14-13 in D2. But his father is former Wisconsin coach, Bo Ryan. So I'm not saying, but how do you fail up?
Good question. Well, when you know, I don't want to go there. I'm trying not to say nepotism, but
that's some Jim Irsay type of stuff right there, man. That's some Jim Irsay. You're 14-13 in D2, so you didn't dominate. You didn't even have a full recruiting class, and now you got this D1 program, and you see how that worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So
this last name, they believe in them. Like let's look at the NFL right now. All these Shanahans and all these, like, come on, man.
Yes.
Everybody's kids got a job.
At least he's winning, though.
It don't matter, man. It's like everybody's kids got a job coaching or a coordinator somewhere, whether they know it or not, how good they are. They don't really always earn it to that standpoint, from my opinion. And that's what kind of keeps us out of positions like that, no matter what. We could be the assistant for 15 years, and then they'll step over us and bring somebody's kid in who worked as a pencil man for 5 years and watched film. So,
all right. So with that, fans, when we get back, slight frustration. When we get back, we'll talk about this week in basketball on the Odd Coaches podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I wish we weren't worried about our jobs. It's segment 3. We're going to talk about all things current in this week in basketball. OCP rankings, top 5. So Boston's killing. And is Tatum an MVP guy? I don't know. But if Boston's number 1, Denver's number 2.
I know he got away with a foul last night.
So I heard. 76ers are 3, Milwaukee's 4, Memphis is 5, and for entertainment purposes only, please keep an eye on Boston, the 76ers, Denver, and Memphis if you are into day-to-day NBA betting. Games of the week, Friday, February 3rd, Phoenix versus Boston. I actually want to watch Boston again. I didn't get a chance to really pay attention to that Lakers game last night. I heard about the foul. I didn't see it. I just know LBJ was all excited about something. And I'm also interested to see Saturday, February 4th, Phoenix versus Detroit. The reason why I picked Phoenix is it's the back-to-backs. So how are they doing on back-to-backs? So that's why I picked Phoenix. It just so happens that they're going to travel from Boston to Detroit. So I want to kind of look at it because we've been talking about Steve Kerr mentioned, a 72-game schedule. And, so I want to see who's going to play back-to-back. Is Chris Paul going to play in both games? That kind of thing. So anything with the NBA this week, sir? Or,
I forgot Phoenix was still playing. I don't know about them playing Detroit. I don't know if I would want to sit down and watch that. I would like to see Phoenix and Boston. I want to see how my guys doing, like an update. And but that's it. You can keep Detroit.
Yeah, and it was all about the back-to-back. That's what it's all about. All right, NCAA. Well, Mike, I had to make some adjustments to our rankings based on the debacle from Alabama. Yeah. So Purdue is number 1. I like them. I saw them play against Maryland. Stop running past that big 7'4" kid. He's really, really good. And Purdue can win a national championship if the guards let them. If the guards let them.
Slow down.
I'm telling you, if the guards let them win.
Slow down. Who
gonna guard that dude?
You moving too fast there. Nah, don't put them in that category. No.
My God.
All
right.
Stop it.
Tennessee. Good quad 1 win yesterday against Texas. Excellent quad 1 win.
6, man. 6 times. Damn
quad 1 win.
Yeah, 7. Come on, can we not do quads?
All right. 3 is Houston.
Dude,
that was a bad loss they took, though. But 4 is K-State. Keep an eye on K-State. And I'm moving Virginia up to 5 because ACC basketball, these cats are having some trouble. So teams to watch strictly for entertainment purposes only. Eastern Washington's on a winning streak. Florida Atlantic's on a winning streak.
Are you done with the quads yet?
Colgate's on a winning streak. And St. Mary's just might win the West Coast Conference, sir.
And that and a quarter give you a cup of coffee.
Hey, might give them a 4 seed.
Ooh.
Might give them a 4 seed. That's what it might give them.
So
as long as they're not a 5th seed.
So they'll play for a half and then they get put out, right?
At least you can win one of those games. If you could win the first game and make it, then it's 50-50. All right,
Are they playing Hampton?
No, they wouldn't play Hampton. No, they wouldn't play Hampton. Friday, February 3rd, games of the week. Eastern Michigan versus Ball State. Imani Bates put up like 27, 29 points in a row. I'm glad to see he's playing better.
Yes.
So I want to see them play. But I saw that on the internet that Imani Bates, I think he put up 27 or 29 points. And then on Saturday, February 4th, Miami is playing Clemson. I just want to see if my man is back in the lineup. That's kind of all I want to see from that.
That's it.
I just kind of want to see.
My man got problems. I don't know if I'd be ready to move or do anything.
Yeah, if Brevin Galloway is going to be in the lineup. So
That's a
that's
bad injury, bro.
that's a bad injury. Now, I'm going to pause because the women's game is crazy good right now.
Yes.
And this tournament this year, I might have to be sick from school. I think I'm feeling feverish because we've got so many teams. This might be crazy. Okay. So number one is South Carolina. Number two is LSU. South Carolina plays LSU on Sunday, February 12th. So I'll be checking that out. Is that Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, February 12th is.
Oh man, please don't have that game on late. Come on. Make sure it's early. Make sure it's early.
No,
Stanford's 3.
it will be early because they've been doing that big,
Yeah.
Super Bowl day that women's been playing. Like that's what they've been doing like last 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So I got Stanford 3, Ohio State 4. They took an L, and UConn and the injuries keep getting wins. So they're 5th. Teams to watch, again, strictly for entertainment purposes only. These are the hottest teams in the country. South Florida, UConn, Gardner Webb women. They're up. They're on fire right now.
Very small school, very good academics. I like this school.
UC Irvine, Middle Tennessee State still winning. Eastern Illinois, Boston University.
You skipped some.
They lost. So they're not hot anymore. They took an L. LSU and South Carolina. Games of the week: Arizona versus UCLA on Friday, February 3rd, and Saturday, February 4th. I really want to see Middle Tennessee State versus University of Texas San Antonio.
That's like the acronym bowl.
A lot of those directional schools.
Yeah. States. Every state versus state.
All right. So finally, as promised, I wanted to do a follow-up on a story from last week that actually got a little twist yesterday. The Las Vegas Aces traded Derica Hamby and a first-round pick in the 2024 WNBA draft to the Los Angeles Sparks in exchange for Amanda Zui and a second-round pick in 2024. That's the what. For Hamby, the issue is not the trade. Roster moves are a part of the business. It's the way it transpired because she believes that the Aces lied, bullied, manipulated, and discriminated against her because of her pregnancy. That's the why. Hamby is not the first WNBA player to claim unwanted treatment during pregnancy. Skylar Diggins in 2019 disclosed she played the entire 2018 season pregnant, unbeknownst to the Dallas Wings, who had no reason to question her capacity. Skylar's just awesome, 34 minutes a game, almost 18 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, et cetera, et cetera. And then in 2019, she claimed in a series of tweets from a Twitter account that doesn't exist that the Wings organization accused her of quitting. The 2020 CBA, which Hamby refers to, includes provisions for maternity leave, motherhood, and family planning that exceeds what most working mothers get. Injuries seem not to be an issue, but pregnancy seems to be an issue. The WNBA announced that it has serious concerns, so they're going to review it. And this just in, Candace Parker's going to the Aces.
Yes.
And some people on the internet are quite upset with Miss Parker. And I'm paused by that. What does that have to do with anything? So that's where we'll leave it. Mike, now that you have a fuller picture of what's going on, have your thoughts changed, or is it they got rid of her because she's pregnant, like you said last week?
I think they got rid of her because she's pregnant. I mean,
Mike, I gave you all of this data.
It don't mean nothing. There's no other reason to get rid of her. Why? Talk to me.
Maybe it was a salary cap issue.
Yeah, okay. The WNBA got salary. You're not paying them enough. What the hell do you mean? They don't say, it's salary cap. It's just a salary issue. How about that? You can't cap, ain't nothing there. Come on, man. Nah,
Okay.
they traded it because I think I would. If it was on FanDuel, I'd put my money on it. Yeah.
All right, fans. So next week we will officially move college basketball to our Thursday show, along with college football news and notes. And our Wednesday show will focus solely on the NBA, the WNBA, because as you see, we've got a lot to talk about. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.